This conference will now be recorded.
You should be live.
All right. Welcome to the August 17th meeting of the Carroll County Technical Transportation Committee. So the first item we'd like to start off with approving some meeting minutes from a couple forum. So we have a few sets of minutes to approve here, which were communicated by the packet. So if there are any questions, take those at that time. And if not, we'll entertain a motion to approve these minutes of previous meetings. So moved. Second motion. Favor is here. Yeah, second. Any further questions? All right, we'll hear none. Let's vote. All those in favor of approval of these meeting minutes, please come by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. All right, the minutes are approved. So that'll take us to our next item, which is the traffic count. So I'll hand it off to Aria.
Oh, yeah. Forgot that I didn't items this time. So, recap. As always, these are a 2-year cycle. So we take the same location for 3 years. Each year we do 65 counts. We kind of do the same locations on the 3-year cycle. So, the results from this calendar year, 2023, in your packets. I think in a previous meeting we discussed the Army road numbers. So we already went over those. And other than that, I don't think there's anything that really stood out to me. Maybe folks hopefully would have a better sense of any numbers look unusual, but yeah, everything seems pretty fine to me. There's some stations that have really low counts that we might cut for future years. Yeah, a lot of these were in Delphi this year. So
When we took Adams Street off to the current construction, I think we probably, the parents are going to put it back on because that's part of it after construction, so that's part of a truck route. So
okay, Adam Street, all right.
it'll be probably finished by the end of the year. Be interested to see how much changes after the nice new paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess the only other thing I'll mention is that this year, the counts, we took mostly the same counts we always take, the same locations. I did adjust some of them in Delphi to add more in Delphi, especially around like the park, the trail, like a lot of different public facilities basically. So I know the mayor was looking at a lot of development and more people and jobs moving in, so getting some counts before and after those kinds of things I thought would be valuable. So that's it. Any questions?
Yeah, so just kind of as a heads up, of course. So typically the way we'll do this is we will look at next year's counts, which we will take near the spring, which is near the end of the fiscal year. So like April, so we can do a relevant start of that. So we'll plan the final locations out of February meeting this year. So there's one meeting between now and then. But you know, I just you all are looking for you might want to take counts. We can certainly adjust moving items up based on this what it would be just based on what we took last time. And we can adjust that as we get some what Adams Street on there for next spring. We certainly do that. Also, if there are any particular focus areas that you'd like us to look at. So, for example, which trucks always come up. So, if you want us to do a specific analysis of trucks at certain locations, we can look at that. So, obviously, there's several right mentions last time, but you'll school counts. So, you know, if there are any particular areas of concern, especially for you guys in law enforcement, which we have beyond a lot of complaints from the public about this area. I see it's on the list. We get speeds in this area or trucks or whatever the problem might be. We get started. Make that assistance. So just something that I did like, decide tomorrow. But it's always good to, kind of think about this back in your minds.
And the cable accounts are separate than these, right? They're a whole separate account.
What we did use the same funding to pay for them. So the year that we took the cable accounts, kind of cut out some of the other routes that we had accounts on before, that change as much. Cable accounts. We can certainly do something like that.
I don't think we go ahead a couple with that's been new, so I don't know that that's really unless we got a specific request. I was just curious how that cycle works. So thank you.
And I guess on Tim's point about specific counts or data, we do have the data we show you here is just like the overall counts. We still have more data than that. So if you want analysis of old data, if you want speeds or chunks, we can go back and look at that and dig that out. So we still, put in all the effort and time. We don't need to. So, yeah. All right. So I think that's it for topic counts. Feel free to email us any suggestions at any time. So.
All right. Then our next item is DOT's 18-120 list. So these are the projects that the state is area. So the first one, there was a project back in the May line, which did let that's 018 substructure improvement foundations of that project. That was already underway. And then we did know there was a project that was previously on the line list and is no longer on that second project, like an NL, a pump. What my guess is happening here is NDOT has been moving a lot of projects to different fiscal years. We see the same thing in Tippecanoe County where they just don't have the budget in there, the bridge program to cover all the cost increases that I'm seeing is essentially the short of it. So because of that, they moved projects to different fiscal years, and that would put the project outside of that 18-month window that this captures. So that is likely why it's not listed. So could someone here to look it up for us? Unfortunately, they're not. But that's what guess as to what happened. You can see the same things that would count as well, and I'm sure around this space, the other locations are seeing the same out there. So I think that's what that project will still happen. I guess for this further out there. Yeah. So other than that, coming up this fall, October, there are a few projects. Most of the ones that are 25, sort of small structure maintenance and repair. There are a few projects that are interior overlay, as well as a bridge that so a lot of maintenance type of work. Along this 25.
What they do on the street? Didn't they do a whole bunch of this? Because they had one lane down 25 both directions in the spring. So I'm wondering if they got ahead.
Well,
On the Who's Heartland?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Robinson Branch will be further to the north.
No, I know, but they're just southbound. They worked on that one.
when's the let? Yes. So the letting date is the first day that work can start on that project. So it doesn't always start right on the letting date. It depends on
This is the first one was 218, right?
Yeah, China Fair.
Yeah.
Just
They were doing work on that earlier.
So we're going to work on this right here next month.
which one?
The Deer Creek.
That's what
That's 20.
next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Okay, so then that kind of covers most of the rest of this year, and then we do have some projects that are just showing up here. So the last three projects that are and what columns, they're new projects. So these are ones that just got into that 18-month window. So that's why those are showing up. Again, a lot of projects, pretty much overlay, a couple small structure maintenance projects as well. 2 on schedule, 3 on more unfortunately. So that's the report. If there are any questions about any of these, happy to pass them along to our partners at INDOT, as these are under their jurisdiction. They can answer specifics better than I can. So if there's anything I'd like to report this time for questions you'd like to ask INDOT, and if there aren't, that's fine too.
I just think Mike just thanks a few of these have already started on the heart.
And they might have done some other stuff, but I thought they had done. They worked on Robinson Ranch, didn't they?
I know they were out there doing some engineering because they sent several things to me from the flood zone part, but I don't know. Yeah, but they were out there and they were just down there by the water tower because they had it all one lane and all that. So that, yeah, that might be a question we ask them is if these have started earlier than they thought, because there was several right there in that area earlier this spring. So.
Yeah, so theoretically, so this information that we're getting, this is from INDOT's database. It was updated on 2015, maybe it's not right.
Yeah.
But what's in their system isn't always most up to date either. You know, sometimes it takes a little bit for things to get changed and things move around. So, you know, do take this information to give it a solve, but at least it gives kind of a general idea of what's going on.
I could go back to the previous meeting and see if there was maybe something else that they did as well. You know, this is the bridge overlay, might have been something that did actually be 2 separate DES numbers too. So I don't know. Yeah, so I'll look and see if I can get back an answer.
So the C in the end, that's out there to what's this?
Yes. So those they're staying
Okay. Just cool. Thank you.
well, there's a lot of information kind of hiding around this table. So if you're not used to looking at it, it's not intuitive at all. So, good question. Okay, so anything else we want to talk about before we this agenda item? All right, so then that's all we have. Just one thing, but I just want to bring up as an FYI. So one thing we've been working pretty hard on in Tippecanoe County is what's called the Safe Streets for All program, which is one of those federal government grant programs that's under the bipartisan infrastructure law. So it is a potential way to get some money into your community. However, in order to get money for projects, there are certain requirements that you have to meet, one of which is having what they call a safety action plan. And they have some very specific criteria, or you have to have a qualifying plan. And once you have those plans, and then you can go ahead and apply for funding for construction. What we've with some analysis of how it's supported in locations throughout the country is that they seem to be very willing to award projects that have like a bicyclist or pedestrian safety component. So for any trail projects that you guys have in your works, that might be ones qualifying funding. There are any, you know, intersections or locations that you might want to make more walkable, more pedestrian friendly. Those would potentially be good candidate projects as well. Again, do note that you would have to have one of these plans in place to qualify for it. So as such, you know, they are fairly strict on those requirements. So if that's something that you guys are ever interested in doing, kind of talk to you about our experience. I just want to bring it up because we see it as something that might be significant for Tippecanoe County. And as such, we want to make sure that if that's something that all members explore that, kind of like you can write the experience to don't have to for this kind of. So I was certainly happy to discuss that, you know, at any point in the future, send you information, etc. So just wanted to let everyone know that that's a thing.
And I wanted to make sure that I did mention that. How far into the weeds did they get? That's describes what they're paying for, so also that from my head on the road, that was a 11 topic. So, we've been installing paths, sidewalks, curbs, and sort of speed delineation type projects.
So it's very broad. So basically what they want to see is that the project has, so what one of the key kind of, I don't know, buzzwords, maybe we can call it that. So Federal Highway Administration, they call proven safety countermeasures. So if you can show that a component of this project is one of these proven safety countermeasures, then that, you know, gives you a really strong chance to get this type of funding.
Lack of law.
Can you send one of the qualifications of what you need for them? Get that initial into the program, the finish, all the requirements, and
I can definitely send you. So what they have on their website is the notice of funding opportunity, which is like a little dense and not a very friendly, like, thing, unfortunately, because they just kind of throw out a bunch of terms. If you're really interested, I might see if I can find, there's like a webinar that kind of explains it, that they publish, like, you know, what is this? That might be start. I'm certainly happy to send that around. To the distribution list. And that might be your best starting point. And again, since we've been looking into it, I have some familiarity with this.
okay.
So I can kind of maybe answer some questions from the government side. Hey, here's what you as a government entity need to do to look.
Maybe you still send around a sample necessary plan that was already put together.
Yeah, I can do that too. So Indianapolis is one that we looked at just to kind of see as a state example. Indiana does not have too many of these plans in place. So, like, they just had the first round of this funding awarded. And it uses, you know, it's like a yearly, right? So the deadline for latest application just passed in July. So we would expect next July would be kind of the next chance. But yeah, that's a good idea. Already, we can send out in these, and you can kind of see just what one of these might look like for another location. Indiana, obviously, Indianapolis will look than either of our counties, but you know, some of the tech information I think is so good is why they want to.
Give us plenty of time to get ready.
There's been some squabble with down in the southeast, like Florida, wanting to connect their trail and head out to like Eller's Pond and then out towards Adamsville and that. So I don't know if we I'd have to look at it and see if give it them and then see if we get tied out on county roads. Because you know, county roads don't have any sidewalks or any trail system. So a lot of now it's federal, so there's caveats to all that, and all that fun stuff.
Yes.
Check potential sometimes. Yeah. Balance. Tendency to drive cost of
That is true.
But I like the webinar idea because trying to read through that will make you busy.
Yeah, it's very, very dense. It's not, it's written as like a legal document, not as a information document, so. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I had. I didn't want to open the floor and see if you guys get in or issues that you wanted to bring forward.
I think.
All right, well, with that, I guess the next portion would be the citizen comments portion. Do we have any comments on this? Decision? Citizens feel like it's third.
Yeah. Let's see, on YouTube, we're currently having and on Facebook. Let's find out. We can give them a minute or so to catch on the screen as well. I know you haven't got audio, FYI. I'm sorry, I did my best.
Do we have any viewers? That's fine.
We do have one viewer on Facebook. So that's a record, I think.
Love our fan base here.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry about the audio, but the PC in the room is kind of tricky here.
That gets tricky for council meeting. Everything seems not bad area.
Yeah,
Working through some broadband issues that they hear soon, hopefully.
for sure.
So we'll kind of just move that to our good friend Donald Landis.
Yes. Yeah, luckily Facebook and YouTube both have that closed captioning. It makes it easier to read what's said. I use that for everything all the time, even if I can hear, so,
Good coverage.
yeah. Yeah. All right, I don't see any comments on Facebook or YouTube at this time.
All right, so with that, I will entertain a motion. So moved. Second. All right, so we'll replace the office of David and Kirk, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you everyone for coming. Our next meeting will be in November on the 16th.
Okay.
Is that right? I think we're moving to the third Thursday.
Yeah, that might not be.
Well, let me look right now at the calendar. I think I updated it for the correct date.
It's Darlene that's watching on Facebook.
Okay.
Yes. Is it?
16th is the third Thursday, so here on 16th of November.
Text him and tell him or talk about the.
Sure.